The mockery. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with alien voices as representatives from dozens of species gathered around the massive holographic display. At the center of attention sat Earth, a small blue marble that had recently been discovered by their long-range scouts. Ambassador Vex of the mighty Dominion fleet leaned back in his crystalline chair, his forearms crossed in obvious amusement. "So this is the latest species requesting membership?" he asked, his translator converting, his chittering language into the common tongue. General Rex from the warrior planet Brutus nodded, his scarred face showing a cruel smile. "The humans, they call themselves. Primitive little creatures who still use chemical propulsion and basic metal alloys for their ships." The hologram shifted to show Earth's orbital defenses, a collection of space stations, satellites, and what appeared to be outdated military vessels. The assembled aliens burst into laughter at the sight. "Look at those tiny craft," wheezed Ambassador Nix from the aquatic world of depth. "Our smallest scout ships could destroy their entire fleet without effort." Captain Fox of the Stellar Pirates examined the data with his cybernetic eye. "Their largest warship is barely 200 meters long. My flagship alone could take on their entire navy." The laughter grew louder as more details emerged. Earth's weapons were projectile-based, their shields were electromagnetic barriers, and their fastest ships could barely reach a fraction of light speed. To the advanced civilizations of the galaxy, humanity looked like children playing with toys. "Perhaps we should just ignore them," suggested Counselor Max from the peaceful trade world of Haven. "They pose no threat to anyone." But Vex had other ideas. His species, the Dominion, had conquered 47 worlds in the past century. They were always looking for new territories to claim, and Earth seemed like easy prey. "Actually," Vex said, his voice turning cold, "their planet has valuable resources, rare metals, fresh water, and a perfect climate. Why should we trade with them when we can simply take what we want?" The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. General Rex cracked his knuckles, each one sounding like breaking stone. "My fleet could crush them in a single day." "No need for such brutality," Vex replied smoothly. "A simple show of force should make them surrender. These humans appear to be a reasonable species. When they see our superior technology, they will surely bow to our demands." The vote was unanimous. Earth would be given an ultimatum: submit to Dominion rule or face the consequences. The humans had 30 standard days to decide. As the council session ended, the aliens continued to joke about Earth's pathetic defenses. They shared stories of other primitive worlds they had encountered, all of which had fallen within hours of first contact with superior alien technology. What none of them knew was that Earth had been listening. Deep in the shadows of the asteroid belt beyond Mars, a massive construction project had been hidden from prying eyes for decades. The humans had detected alien presence in their solar system years ago through subtle gravitational anomalies and unexplained sensor readings. Admiral Cole stood on the bridge of the hidden command station, watching the alien transmissions that their quantum communication interceptors had captured. His weathered face showed no emotion as he listened to the aliens mock his species. "Sir," reported Lieutenant Gray from the communications station, "the message is clear. They want us to surrender or face invasion." Cole nodded slowly. Around him, the command center hummed with quiet activity as officers prepared for what everyone knew was coming. Through the massive viewports, they could see the dark shapes of humanity's true defense fleet, vessels that had been built in complete secrecy, using technology that the aliens had no idea humans possessed. "Send word to all shipyards," Cole ordered. "Operation Darkstar is now active. It's time to wake up the dreadnoughts." In hidden facilities scattered throughout the solar system, enormous warships began to power up for the first time. These were not the small patrol craft and outdated cruisers that orbited Earth for the aliens to see. These were humanity's real weapons, massive dreadnoughts armed with technology that would make the galaxy tremble. The aliens thought they knew everything about human capabilities based on what they could observe from long range. They were about to learn that humans were very good at keeping secrets. As the 30-day countdown began, Admiral Cole allowed himself a small smile. The aliens had made their first mistake by underestimating humanity. It would also be their person. No, the laughter was about to stop. 28 days into the countdown, the Dominion fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system like a storm of metal and malice. 300 warships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with advanced armor and bristling with weapons that could crack planets. General Rex commanded the invasion force from his flagship, the World Breaker, a massive vessel 5 kilometers long and armed with enough firepower to glass continents. He stood on the bridge studying tactical displays that showed Earth's pathetic orbital defenses. "Still no sign of surrender," reported his tactical officer. "The humans continue to send diplomatic messages requesting negotiation." Rex laughed, a sound like grinding stone. "Negotiation? What do insects negotiate with giants?" He gestured to the viewport where Earth hung like a jewel against the black of space. "Send the final ultimatum. They have 48 hours to surrender unconditionally, or we turn their cities to ash." The message was broadcast on all human frequencies, translated into every Earth language. Across the planet, billions of people watched their leaders gather for emergency sessions. The media showed endless footage of the alien fleet, ships so massive they could be seen with telescopes from Earth's surface. President Davis stood before a joint session of Congress, her face grave but determined. "Fellow citizens, we face the greatest threat in human history. The aliens demand our complete surrender and the transformation of Earth into their colony." Panic gripped many cities as people fled to underground shelters. Others gathered in the streets, some praying, others shouting defiance at the sky. The stock markets collapsed, communication networks overloaded, and military bases worldwide went to maximum alert. But in the hidden command stations scattered throughout the solar system, a different mood prevailed. Admiral Cole walked through the corridors of the massive shipyard hidden in the shadow of Jupiter's moon Europa. Around him, thousands of technicians and engineers worked with calm efficiency, preparing humanity's secret weapons for deployment. "Status report," Cole requested as he entered the main hangar bay. Commander Bell, his chief of staff, consulted her tablet. "All 18 dreadnoughts are now fully operational. The Defiance, Liberty, and Vengeance have completed final weapons testing. Crew transfers are complete." Cole nodded as he looked up at the nearest dreadnought. The ship was a masterpiece of human engineering, 12 kilometers of armored death powered by fusion reactors that could fuel small cities. Its hull was black as space itself, designed to be nearly invisible to sensors. Weapons pods lined its IGU, flanks like the spines of some prehistoric beast. "The aliens think they know our capabilities," Cole said quietly. "They've studied our public ships, our commercial technology, our civilian infrastructure. They have no idea what we've been building in secret for the past 50 years. The dreadnoughts were the culmination of humanity's greatest scientific minds working in complete secrecy. While the world watched their government struggle with limited budgets and public oversight, the real military development had happened in places that officially didn't exist. Advanced materials stronger than anything the aliens used, weapons that fired projectiles at significant fractions of light speed, shields that could deflect energy beams capable of melting asteroids, and most importantly, engines that could move these massive ships faster than anything else in known space." "Sir," reported Lieutenant Gray from the communication station, "we're receiving updates from our observation posts. The alien fleet has moved into high Earth orbit. They're positioning for planetary bombardment. Through the hangar's massive blast doors, Cole could see other hidden facilities coming to life. Weapon platforms that had mass scourged as asteroids for decades began extending their true forms. Fighter squadrons launched from bases hollowed out of moons and planetoids. And throughout the solar system, humanity's real defense network activated for the first time. "They chose to threaten our world," Cole said, his voice carrying to every member of his crew. "They laughed at our defenses because they could only see what we wanted them to see. Now they're about to learn why humans survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and every other disaster our planet could throw at us." He turned to his communications officer. "Send a message to all dreadnought commanders. Operation Dark Star is authorized for immediate execution. On Earth, President Davis received a coded message that had been prepared decades earlier. She looked up at the cameras broadcasting to the world and managed her first smile in days. "Citizens of Earth," she announced, "I have been authorized to inform you that our planet is not as defenseless as our enemies believe. Our real defenses have been hidden, waiting for exactly this moment." In orbit above Earth, General Rex watched his sensors as they detected what appeared to be minor gravitational fluctuations throughout the solar system. His tactical officer dismissed them as background noise. Neither of them realized they were looking at the signatures of 18 dreadnoughts beginning their approach runs. The attack began at exactly 0600 hours, Earth Standard Time. General Rex was reviewing bombardment targets when his tactical officer suddenly straightened at his station. "Sir, I'm detecting massive energy signatures approaching from multiple vectors." "Explain," Rex commanded, his four eyes focusing on the main display. "Unknown contacts, sir. They're huge. Each one is reading as 12 kilometers in length, and they're moving at impossible speeds." Rex felt his first moment of unease. "Impossible speeds? Sir, they're accelerating at rates that should crush any crew aboard. No known species can survive those G-forces." On the display, 18 red dots appeared, closing in on the Dominion fleet from all directions. Rex stared at the readings, his mind struggling to process what he was seeing. These weren't the small human craft they had observed. These were massive warships moving faster than his own vessels. "Where did they come from?" he demanded. "Unknown, sir. They seem to appear from nowhere. Our sensors show they were hiding in the electromagnetic shadows of various planetary bodies throughout the system." Admiral Cole stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Defiance, watching the enemy fleet grow larger on his screens. Around him, his crew worked with practiced efficiency, their movements calm despite the magnitude of what they were about to do. "All stations report ready, Admiral," announced Commander Bell. Cole nodded. "Open a channel to the alien fleet." The transmission reached the world breaker moments later. General Rex found himself staring at a human face. Weathered, determined, and completely unafraid. "This is Admiral Cole of the Earth Defense Force," the human said. "You are trespassing in our solar system and threatening our world. You have one opportunity to withdraw peacefully." Rex's surprise quickly turned to anger. "You dare threaten us? Your pathetic species should be begging for mercy." Cole's expression didn't change. "You studied our defenses and found them wanting. But you only saw what we wanted you to see. For 50 years, humanity has been preparing for this day. We knew we weren't alone in the universe, and we knew that not all of our neighbors would be friendly." The dreadnoughts continued their approach, and now the Dominion sensors were getting clear readings on their capabilities. The tactical officer's voice cracked as he read the data. "Sir, these ships are equipped with weapons I've never seen before. Their armor is denser than our own, and their power signatures suggest fusion reactors far more advanced than our technology." Rex stared at the impossible readings. "How is this possible? Our intelligence showed them using primitive chemical rockets and basic metal construction." "Because that's what we wanted you to see," Cole replied. "While our public space program struggled with limited budgets and outdated technology, our real scientists were working in secret. Every major government on Earth contributed to this project. We built these ships in hidden facilities using resources you never knew we had." The truth was even more remarkable than Cole revealed. Humanity's secret space program had been funded by the discovery of incredibly rich asteroid mining sites and advanced materials research that the public never knew about. While civilians watched their governments debate space exploration funding, the real work was happening in facilities that officially didn't exist. "You're bluffing," Rex snarled, but his voice lacked conviction. 18 ships cannot defeat a fleet of 300. "You're right," Cole agreed. 18 ships couldn't defeat 300 of yours. But these aren't just ships, General, they're dreadnoughts. Each one carries enough firepower to destroy your entire fleet." To prove his point, Cole ordered a demonstration. The Defiance fired a single shot from its main gun, a projectile traveling at 20% the speed of light. The target was a small asteroid between Mars and Jupiter. The asteroid simply vanished. One moment it was there, the next it was nothing but expanding vapor and debris. The silence on the Dominion fleet's communications channels was deafening. Our weapons fire projectiles at relativistic speeds, Cole explained calmly. Our shields can deflect energy beams that could melt mountains. Our armor is made from materials that don't officially exist in your periodic tables, and our crews are protected by inertial dampening systems that allow us to maneuver at accelerations that would turn your warriors into paste. Rex found his voice. This is impossible. No species developed such technology in secret. You underestimated us because you thought you understood us, Cole replied. You saw our public face and assumed that was all there was. But humans are very good at keeping secrets when survival is at stake. We've been watching you for years, studying your tactics, your technology, your weaknesses. The dreadnoughts had now formed a perfect sphere around the Dominion fleet, each massive ship positioned to deliver maximum firepower. Rex realized with growing horror that his supposedly superior force was completely surrounded by vessels that outgunned and outmaneuvered anything in his fleet. This is your final warning, Cole said. Leave our system now or face the consequences. General Rex's pride overcame his fear. The idea that his mighty Dominion fleet could be defeated by a species they had dismissed as primitive was unbearable. His scarred face twisted with rage as he made his decision. All ships attack formation, he commanded. Show these humans what real military power looks like. The 300 ships of the Dominion fleet opened fire simultaneously. Energy beams capable of melting cities lanced through space toward the 18 human dreadnoughts. Plasma torpedoes that could crack moons streaked across the void. The firepower unleashed was enough to destroy entire worlds. But when the light faded, the dreadnoughts remained untouched. Impossible, Rex shouted, staring at his displays. Nothing can withstand that much concentrated fire. Admiral Cole's voice came through the communication channel, still calm and measured. Your weapons are impressive, General, but they're designed to fight opponents who use technology similar to your own. Our shields operate on principles your scientists haven't discovered yet. The truth was that human scientists had solved problems that had stumped alien civilizations for millennia. While the galaxy species focused on raw power, humans had developed efficiency and innovation. Their shields didn't just deflect energy. They absorbed it, converted it, and fed it back into the ship's power systems. Return fire, Cole ordered quietly. The dreadnoughts responded with surgical precision. Instead of the massive energy beams favored by alien civilizations, they fired solid projectiles accelerated to incredible speeds. But these weren't simple bullets. They were smart munitions that could adjust their trajectory mid-flight and penetrate even the strongest known armor. The results were devastating. Each dreadnought fired only a few shots, but every shot found its target. Dominion warships that had conquered dozens of worlds exploded in brilliant flashes of light. In less than 30 seconds, Rex watched 50 of his ships destroyed. Evasive maneuvers, he screamed. All ships, scatter formation. But the human dreadnoughts moved like predators, their advanced engines allowing them to match every maneuver the alien fleet attempted. What had seemed like a fair fight was turning into a one-sided massacre. Captain Fox of the Stellar Pirates tried to run, pushing his ship's engines beyond their safety limits. But the dreadnought Vengeance was faster, its sleek hull cutting through space like a knife. A single shot from its secondary guns turned the pirate flagship into debris. General Rex realized with growing horror that his fleet was being systematically destroyed. The humans weren't just fighting. They were demonstrating their superiority with ruthless efficiency. Every shot was calculated, every maneuver precise. This wasn't a battle between equals. This was an extermination. How many ships have we lost? He demanded. 127, sir, his tactical officer reported, his voice barely a whisper. The humans are destroying us at will. Rex watched another wave of his ships explode and made a desperate decision. Signal the Worldbreaker's main gun. Target the third planet directly. If he couldn't defeat the human fleet, he would destroy their world. The Worldbreaker's planet-killer weapon began to charge, its massive barrel rotating toward Earth. But Admiral Cole had anticipated this move. All dreadnoughts priority target, the enemy flagship's main weapon, fire at will. 18 dreadnoughts focused their fire on a single point. The combined impact of their relativistic projectiles struck the Worldbreaker's main gun with the force of a small nuclear explosion. The weapon system exploded in a chain reaction that tore through the ship's hull. Rex felt his flagship shudder around him as critical systems failed. Damage report. Main gun destroyed, sir. Hull breaches. On deck 7 through 15, we're losing atmosphere and power. Through the smoke and sparks of his damaged bridge, Rex watched as the last of his fleet was methodically destroyed. Ships that had terrorized the galaxy for decades were reduced to scrap metal by human weapons that seemed to defy physics. This is impossible, he whispered. We are the Dominion. We have conquered 47 worlds. We cannot be defeated by a single species. Admiral Cole's voice cut through his despair. General, your fleet is destroyed. Your flagship is crippled. You have two choices. Surrender now, or join the rest of your ships in the void. Rex looked around his ruined bridge at the faces of his surviving crew. They were warriors who had never known defeat. But now they stared at him with fear and desperation. The pride of the Dominion fleet had been broken in less than an hour. We surrender, he said, the words feeling like poison in his mouth. Wise choice, Cole replied. Drop your shields and prepare to be boarded. You and your surviving crew will be taken into custody. As human boarding parties secured the crippled Worldbreaker, Rex realized the full scope of their defeat. They had come to conquer what they thought was a primitive world, but instead they had encountered a species that had been preparing for this moment for decades. The laughter had indeed stopped. Now there was only silence and the cold realization that humanity was not the weak prey they had imagined, but a predator that had been waiting patiently for its moment to strike. 3 months after the Battle of Earth, the Galactic Council chamber was a very different place. Gone were the jokes and casual dismissals of lesser species. In their place was a nervous tension that filled the air like smoke. Ambassador Vex sat in his crystalline chair, but his forearms were no longer crossed, in arrogance. Instead, he fidgeted with nervous energy as he watched the main display. The other council members whispered among themselves, casting fearful glances at the empty seat that had been prepared for Earth's representative. The great doors opened, and Admiral Cole entered wearing a simple black uniform with no ornate decorations. Behind him walked a small delegation of humans, their faces calm and professional. They moved with quiet confidence, showing no signs of intimidation despite being surrounded by dozens of alien species. Cole took his seat at the council table without ceremony. The chamber fell completely silent. Thank you for accepting our request to address the council, Cole began, his voice carrying clearly through the vast space. I understand there have been some changes in galactic politics since our last interaction. Indeed, there had been. Word of the Dominion fleet's complete destruction had spread throughout the galaxy like wildfire. Species that had cowered before, alien fleets for centuries suddenly found themselves reconsidering their positions. Trade routes shifted overnight. Alliance agreements were hastily rewritten. The balance of power that had existed for millennia was crumbling. Counselor Max from Haven was the first to speak. Admiral Cole, we want to assure you that not all species supported the Dominion's actions. Many of us advocated for peaceful contact. Cole nodded politely. We're aware of that, Counselor. Our intelligence network has been monitoring galactic politics for longer than you realize. We know which species can be trusted and which cannot. The casual mention of human intelligence operations sent another wave of unease through the chamber. If humans had been watching them for years without being detected, what else didn't they know about this supposedly primitive species? Ambassador Nix from the aquatic world of depth leaned forward. Admiral, we would like to formally apologize for our previous assumptions about your species. We clearly underestimated your capabilities. You underestimated more than our capabilities, Cole replied. You underestimated our patience, our planning, and our resolve. For 50 years, humanity prepared for the day when we would need to defend ourselves against hostile aliens. We hoped that day would never come, but we were ready when it did. The Mao Truth was even more impressive than the aliens realized. The human secret space program hadn't just built dreadnoughts. They had established hidden bases throughout their solar system, developed advanced manufacturing capabilities that could produce fleets of warships, and created a military doctrine specifically designed to counter the tactics used by galactic civilizations. "What do you want from us?" asked General Rex, who now served as a prisoner representative of the former Dominion worlds. His proud bearing was gone, replaced by the hunched posture of defeat. Cole studied the alien general for a moment before answering. "We want what any reasonable species wants: security, trade opportunities, and peaceful coexistence. But we want these things on our terms, not as the subjects of an alien empire." He stood and activated a holographic display that showed the current state of the galaxy. Red zones marked areas of conflict, blue zones showed peaceful trade networks, and yellow zones indicated regions of political instability. "The old order is dead," Cole announced. "The Dominion's defeat has created a power vacuum that threatens to destabilize the entire galaxy. Species that were oppressed are now seeking revenge. Former allies are turning on each other. Trade networks are collapsing." The assembled aliens shifted uncomfortably as they recognized the truth of his words. Without the Dominion's iron grip, holding the galaxy together, chaos was spreading. "Humanity proposes a new arrangement," Cole continued. "We will establish patrol routes to maintain peace in key sectors. We will protect trade vessels from pirates and raiders. We will mediate disputes between species and enforce fair treatment for all civilizations." Ambassador Vex found his voice. "You're talking about replacing the Dominion with human rule." "No," Cole replied firmly. "We're talking about replacing conquest with cooperation. The Dominion ruled through fear and oppression. Humanity will maintain order through strength and justice." The difference was significant. Where the Dominion had enslaved worlds and stripped their resources, humanity offered protection in exchange for fair trade agreements. Where the Dominion had imposed their culture on conquered species, humanity respected local customs and governments. "And if we refuse?" asked a voice from the back of the chamber. Cole's expression didn't change, but somehow his presence seemed to fill the room. "Then you'll discover why the Dominion fleet lasted less than an hour against 18 dreadnoughts. But I hope it won't come to that. Humanity prefers peace to war, cooperation to conquest." The vote, when it came, was unanimous. The Galactic Council formally recognized Earth as the new galactic peacekeeping force. As the session ended, Cole reflected on how far humanity had come. They had entered the galactic community as apparent primitives and emerged as its protectors. The species that had once laughed at Earth's defenses now looked to those same defenses for protection.